Hi everybody, let's take a look at OnShape. So I'm going to come to um, onshape.com like that. Just type it in that way, or what I can do is just drag this over here. You can see I've already done it once. Let me close that, and instead I'm going to open up a tab and just click on that bookmark that I already have there. I'm going to sign in. I have a password manager, so it's going to auto-populate the screen. And here we are. You can see there's a lot of stuff here. Over here on the left, which we'll call the browser, there are different things. So this is my OnShape. It shows really everything that I've made and also stuff that has been shared with me. We've got recently opened, created by me, shared with me, and then public. There's a lot of goodies out there. Since all this stuff goes on to the web, evidently some of it is available to us, so we can check some of this stuff out. So I'm going to click on created by me, and we're going to explore more and more OnShape, but first I'm just going to make the part associated with today's assignment. And so I'm going to come up here to create, and I'm going to create a document, and I'm going to call that, for now we're still going to use a naming convention such that I can identify it at the file level. So last name, first name, we'll call this Part A. OK. And I'm just going to make this part, and I'm going to describe some of the features or characteristics of 3D solid modeling if you haven't seen it before. And what you'll see initially is a set of three mutually perpendicular origin planes, they're called. They're planes that are centered on the origin, and there's the front, the right, and the top, as we've talked about previously during our sketching. If I want to get it back into an isometric view, I can go to this drop down here and click isometric. And yeah, it takes a minute for it to register. I can turn these off, and I will at times, just to declutter, but in general I would leave them on until you need to have them off. So again, you can see front, right, and top. The part we're going to make is right here, and we're going to make it by first making a two-dimensional closed sketch, which is this sort of L on its side, and then we're going to do what's called extrude the rest of it out 5 units. This is 5 high, 7 wide, 2 high here, 5 back, up 3, back 2, so we can make this two-dimensional sketch pretty easily. And then we're going to do an extrusion back here, and I'll show you all that stuff. So we're going to come back here, and now I'm going to click sketch up here, and I'm going to pick one of the three planes on which to sketch. So I'm going to click the front plane, and that's going to create another sketch plane called sketch 1. And in this program, the plane doesn't orient to face you. And by that I mean become parallel with the screen of the computer, so to speak. So I'm going to come up here to this cube and click front, and that's going to make it like it's a piece of paper right in front of me that I can start sketching on. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do again is I'm going to draw this L on its side, and I know the dimensions by heart, so I'm just going to put them in as we go. You can count the squares yourself. I'm going to come up here to the line tool. I could just press L for the shortcut key, but I'm going to click here, and I'm going to start at the origin. You can see it pops kind of square orange there. And so if I left click, I want to come over and make sure I'm horizontal. And this is a little weird in the sense that if I left click again to define that line, it's not obvious that all the focus is on that dimension 4.953, and that if I just start typing a number, it will go into that box, but it does. So I'm going to hit 7, there it is, enter, and now I've got a line that's 7 units long, and I'm still going with the line tool. I'm going to make sure that it's perpendicular, and you can see there's a little perpendicular sign that pops up just to the right of that vertical line. This distance is 2, and actually I made a mistake, so I am going to finish this sketch, and then I'm going to right click, delete the sketch, And I'm going to come over here to these three vertical lines called the document menu, and I'm going to click, and then I'm going to change the workspace units from inch to centimeter. Okay, and then the green check mark. And now everything's in centimeters. So once again, I'm going to click sketch, and now since the front is already facing me, remember it used to be like this, and I clicked front there, and then I had to manually turn it back. I'm just going to turn it so the front's straight at me, and then I'm going to click the front plane to define my sketch plane. You can see which pops up right here. Okay, so don't close this chunk until you're ready to finish the sketch. That has to stay there. Back to the line tool, I click here, come out horizontal, left click, and I put in 7, enter, and then I come up 2 units, so I left click, put in 2, and then I come back this way, making sure that I'm parallel to the line below it and perpendicular to the vertical line, and that is what, 5, I believe. So rather than try to get exactly 5 by moving the mouse, I'm just going to left click and then put in 5 there. And then I come back up here, vertical, I left click, and I believe that's 2. I come back over here a certain amount, left click, that's 2, and that should bring me vertically straight above the original one. So you can see when I make it back to the origin, it kind of pops orange and square. That means I'm coincident with that first point. So I'm going to left click, and that distance is only 4, so I made a mistake. So that's okay. I'm going to right click, escape line. I made a mistake. So this one right here should be 3. And I think I fixed it. Remember, 7, 2, 5, 3, or is it? Yeah, it's 3. It goes up 3. And then this distance here should be 5. Okay, so that's our two-dimensional closed sketch. That's the first step virtually always. Now I'm going to make it back into isometric view, and you can see these planes are still kind of in the way, but we're going to hold on to them a little longer. I'm going to click the green check. That means I've finished my two-dimensional sketch. There it is. And now I'm going to do a maneuver to make this three-dimensional. To do that, I'm going to come up here to extrude. I can get that by Shift D as well, but I'm going to click there. Then I'm going to click the closed two-dimensional sketch that I've already created, click inside of it, and it's going to extrude it out. So that's an extrusion. I'm going to come over and I'm going to change the direction because I want to extrude in the other direction, and here we go a distance 5. There it is, and now I can click the green check mark and I'm good. Okay, now it's at this point where I don't really need the origin planes. I'm going to turn them off because in order to make this object right here, I need to put sketches on faces of the object I just sketched rather than created on an origin plane. So to do that, I'm going to make another sketch on top here, and then I'm going to click top over here so it's staring at me like that. So again, we have a origin plane, which is, let's see if I can show it. See, it's kind of sitting right there on top of the object. But for me to be able to sketch on that, what I want to do is have the top looking straight at me like that. Okay. Now I'm going to use this tool, which is the rectangle tool, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make sure that I'm right on top of the line. Left click, and then on top of this line, left click. And now you can see that the 2 is active at the bottom, so that should be 2 right there. And this one should be 3, that distance. Okay. That is the size of this little chunk. But you'll notice that this is centered, whereas this one is not centered. So what I'm going to do is come up here to the dimension tool, click on it, click on this line, click on that line, and then come over here and make that equal to 1. And now it's centered. So I've got a sketch, it's closed, it's on top of a face that I've already made previously, and I can extrude with that. So I'm going to finish that sketch, come over here to isometric, there it is, use the extrude tool right here again, Shift E or click this button. Now here you got to be careful. I want to remove material here. As you can see, I want to come down 1 unit. So I come over here and I click there. Now I have to come over here and click remove. Actually, it's going the other way, but if I click remove, yeah, it automatically changes. But I have to be on remove there. And this goes down just 1, enter. And I think, yeah, so it's gone. So I've got these 2 ears now, right there and right there, and I'm on my way to finishing this. So the next thing I could do is I could either make a sketch on this face on the object or in the front. I think I'm going to choose, this is not the front, it's the side. I think I'm going to choose this face right here. It's going to be a 1 by 2 rectangle that's centered, and then I'm going to extrude back 3 units. So let's make another sketch right here. Let's click the cube so that the right side looks straight at me. I'm going to use the rectangle tool again. I'm going to click here, bring it down over here, click there. That distance I believe is 2. That distance actually was 1, so I made a mistake there. So you can see the 2 that's showing on the left here is already at 2, so I think I can just hit enter. Looks like it wants me to put a 2 in there. Okay, there we go. So you can see I made a mistake. So what I need to do is come over here, double click there. Let's see, I think I need to get out of the rectangle mode, and then double click there. That's only 1. There we go. Now to center that, I need to make it 2 centimeters from either edge, and that'll center it. So I'll come over here, go to the sketch cannot be resolved. We'll have to check on that. Let's see how this works out though. From there to there is 2. Now it's centered, so I'm going to finish my sketch. Put it back in isometric. Come over to the extrude tool, click there, make sure I'm on remove, and I'm going to go in 3 units, and then click the green check mark, and there I have it. So that is the part that I want you to make. So at this point, what I want you to do, well, there are a number of things you can do. You can right click and play around with some of these things, like you can show the dimensions on a face to make sure you got it right, and looks like it only lets you do it 1 at a time. So if I click there and show dimensions, it gives me those about over here. Right click, show dimensions, still those. Anyway, we'll play with that, and for now that's good enough. What I want you to do is share. So you're going to click this document here, and you're going to share with me JREED at srvusd.net. Okay, and you're going to allow me to edit it, and let's see, I'm going to have to read more about link document versus copy, but for now just use copy, and that's how you'll turn this in. Okay, so that is part A, and we'll move on to the next one.